Warning: the following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. The Untitled Wrestling Podcast is on all the usual social media outlets. Do your bit to support us on Facebook and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Twitter, Twitch and Discord at Untitled Res Pod. Give us a like, share, subscribe and join our flourishing community of not just wrestling fans, but gamers, podcasters, musicians and more.
Are you waiting for me?
I'm just making it awkward, mate. Hello, welcome to the news. Do keep that in. My name is Jay. As always, joined by my co-anchor in crime or wrestling. I don't know. Troy. But it's been a long week. My brain isn't working too good these days. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Very good. Very, very good. Thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. But day off, which is very
a rarity.
Well, I was meant to just peel the curtain back into my day-to-day life. I was meant to have the week off, and then someone got a positive COVID test, so I've basically been doing all the hours. Ooh. So I'm very, very tired. You know the way Matt Cardona's always ready. Well, I'm always sleepy at the moment.
What, like
yeah.
Dawson?
No, I'm not Dawson sleepy. You don't. No, that's sleepy. Oh, okay. Never go full Dawson, mate. Full Dawson. You see him on up, down, down. It's like someone's had a stroke. Bless him, poor lad. But yeah, let's get straight into the news because it's been quite a week. So Fightful has learned a lot more about the plans for Big E and the WWE title. It came to fruition this week. They say the WWE sources they've spoken to in the days following Big E's huge, very surprising title win on Raw, stated that almost everybody was in the belief that Big E would win the title, but it had been talked about being a reality very early after he won Money in the Bank. Friend of the podcast, Andrew Zarian of Matman, had even mentioned originally that the draft was the planned date that Big E was going to cash in and win the title. Fightful has confirmed that those plans were picked up this weekend after the Madison Square Garden SmackDown, where Orton vs. Lashley was moved up to Raw. WWE firmed up plans on Saturday to bring Big E to Raw. The creative was kept close to the vest until Monday. At that point, Big E was informed he'd be cashing in Money in the Bank to win the WWE title. This isn't out of the ordinary. They did a similar thing with Nikki Ash, and she told Fightful in a recent interview with them. And much of the roster stuck around to watch the match and the title change unfold, which is very uncharacteristic as many of the talent leave before the show goes off the air. Fightful were told there was a seemingly universal elation for Big E, as many would expect. He is one of the most beloved members of the roster. He's the man, isn't he?
He's the fucking man. It's bloody lovely to see.
Yeah. So I got like the sort of Fightful Select thing that come out that day saying Big E's at Raw. I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on?
Well, he put it out on his Twitter, didn't he, as well?
And then he tweeted saying he fully intended on cashing in. I was like, oh, you messing. I was in work at 6 a.m, so I couldn't stay up and watch it. So I literally woke up for work, got the fucking phone, looked at my phone, and it was blowing up with like Twitter notifications with news stuff just saying Big E is a WWE champion. And it's nice because obviously there's been like a lot of negativity towards WWE recently with like the NXT rebrand and just general them being not a nice company. But this is kind of universally like had the wrestling world rejoice. Like everybody was happy on Twitter. There was
so many people
tweeting Big E. There was guys who had been released tweeting Big E.
Bray Wyatt came out and was just like, I didn't like. I'm late to this and I wasn't there for it. But like this, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of like,
on the lines of
the wrestling world needs more people like this. Like Big E's a good dude.
Yeah, he said Big E's the kind of guy that everyone everyone would queue up to congratulate as he came through the curtain. Which it sounds like did actually happen. Yeah. There was a lot of like cool little exchanges. He had one with Stu Grayson, obviously because they were talking about Brody, saying like how much that would have meant to Brody, and Biggie said like he would love to give him a hug and he was with him there, which was nice.
Right in the feels.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali put like a really nice one saying Brody would have loved that. And there was also the little exchange with Powerhouse Hobbs, which I loved, where Hobbs just like, congratulations, you deserve it. And Biggie was like, I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. Keep doing what you do. I was like, give me Biggie versus Powerhouse Hobbs in the ultimate hoss fight. Big meaty men slapping meat.
That's the one.
Open that fucking forbidden door. Have Biggie like sultrily slither out like a sexy Babadook.
Sexy Babadook.
Like a slutty Babadook, and just like big ending everybody. Very cool.
Really good.
That Biggie's like kind of universally been rejoiced over, because that it's one of those things. I think WWE needed that kind of shot in the arm, and especially like you've just got to go back and listen to our Raw reviews where we're like from this time last year where we're like, why hasn't Biggie won the belt yet? Did you see the tweet that was kind of going around from 2013? I think it was 2013, 2018 as well. That Kenny Omega said in 2018, Biggie should be a world champion for any company. Wow. And Biggie was like, that means a lot coming from you. And then Kenny was like, well, I mean every word I said. And like that's kind of been shared. It's like, oh, it's nice.
That's nice.
WWE champion and the AEW champion recognize each other as like being, because they're mates anyway, aren't they? New Day and the Elite.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool.
It's really cool. This is great, fucking all round. Like we don't review Raw at the moment, just because there's so much wrestling to watch, and you know we're fortunate for where we can kind of pick and choose the really good stuff to review.
Let's call it what it is. It's been absolute dog shit recently.
But this is a shining moment there, and hopefully, I mean that's confirmation, I guess, before the draft that you know Biggie is a permanent fixture now on Raw, and that's not to say we're going to suddenly start watching Raw, but there might be a little bit more reason to tune in. But this is just fucking awesome news all round. I think, was it me and you that said by the end of the year Biggie would be WWE champion?
When
Universal?
When he won Money in the Bank, we said WWE,
I'm sure we said, like when we did our predictions at the end of last year, we were predicting who would be.
If you want to just keep talking.
You got it written down. Well, I'll follow on with a bit of news from that. Matt Men's Andrewsarian said there's pressure on WWE from the networks to treat Raw and SmackDown as equal shows. Big E winning the WWE Championship was originally planned for his move to Raw during the up-and-coming draft, which he mentioned, but it was moved up in order to give Raw something equally big after SmackDown had such a huge show at Madison Square Garden last week. It was not a response, however, to AEW Dynamite beating Raw in the key demo ratings. That being said, Zarian heard from people at the networks that if the trend continues of AEW closing the gap on Raw television numbers, then we have a big problem.
I mean, they beat WWE in the key demographic. They beat Raw. And also, like, Raw's doing like what 1.6, I think it was, or 1.7.
Dynamite's doing 1.2.
Well,
1.2.
They topped out not this week, the week before. I don't know what their ratings were this week, but they topped out, like their peak viewership was the Elite and Bryan Danielson segment, and that was 1.5.
Oof.
So only 100,000 people in it at one point.
It's nothing. There's nothing. In the grand scheme of things, that's nothing.
Yeah. Just to clarify on the end of year champions, me and you said Keith Lee for WWE champion. And you said Big E for Universal.
Oh, okay.
And I said the Tribal Chief.
Of course you did.
It's interesting looking at that actually some of our picks.
Oh God, about half of them aren't even with the company, are they?
Well,
oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the Riot's are going to be a tag champions, mate.
Oh, mate, don't do that to me. It's okay. Ruby Soho, rather, sorry, is in a better place now.
Yeah, I hope if AEW do introduce women's tag titles that her and Riho win them, because that was a very wholesome little team we had there. Very happy.
Yeah.
I also think she's gonna sell her ass off a Brit when they do face each other next week. But yeah, I'm. It's one of those things, isn't it? With like the whole, this is saying it's not a response, but it's like,
I mean, it definitely is.
It's so WWE and it's so arrogant to think that other wrestling companies aren't competition.
Yeah, like they're the only people that exist. No one else is doing wrestling. I mean, the WWE are even doing wrestling, apparently, because you're not allowed to say wrestling anymore. Well, it's a banned word.
They're fucking ashamed of the fact they're a wrestling company, mate.
It's mad.
It's stupid. It's very stupid. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. A high tide raises all ships, doesn't it? So if the fact that AEW are putting out like probably their best work at the moment, and they're growing their audience, and it's getting closer and closer to WWE's, which is diminishing. Hopefully, WWE will then be forced to start putting out a better product, and AEW keep putting out a good product, and both will kind of raise each other up.
You'd hope so.
You would. From that Nick Khan interview that came out around SummerSlam was just kind of like ingrained in my brain. Think when I'm going on, no one's our competition. It's just like, yeah, you're a fucking,
you're deluded.
Yeah, it is, especially like you look at how much WWE kind of like harp on about beating WCW back in the day, and it's like Vince needs that kick in the ass.
Needs to recognize that there is legitimate competition. There is an alternative, and people are tuning into that alternative, and they're not only tuning into it because it's generally a better product, but they're also tuning in because WWE are literally handing them talent.
And Vince is making jokes and fucking conference calls about giving them more and then releasing top guys like Bray Wyatt.
It's fucking absurd. It's absolutely mad.
It's literally as well. The other thing is, like I've already mentioned the Monday Night Wars. Like WWE in the head think they're still fucking the WWE in that situation.
Yeah,
they're not.
They're not.
The WCW.
They're really not. They are.
The 2000 WCW.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Can't wait for in 2 years' time when we get a fucking simulcast on Wednesday nights.
The name on the contract does say Khan.
But it doesn't say Nick Khan. Then again,
you know that's going to happen.
Then again, Tony Elite wouldn't say that with that much composure. He'd be like, gets himself too excited when he's cutting promos and starts squeaking like a guinea pig. I love Tony Khan. He's a great person. Anyway, moving on. Recent social media posts have led to speculation the hair business could be reuniting. In the aftermath, I should say, of Bobby Lashley losing the WWE Championship to Big E on this week's Raw, MVP took to Instagram to post a picture of him sitting alongside Shelton. MVP wrote that he was discussing business with an old acquaintance, leading fans to speculate of a possible reunion of the hair business. Meanwhile, Cedric Alexander apparently mocked Lashley by tweeting if only he had some backup immediately after Big E cashed in on Raw. Big E's already as well. He said, I don't know where he said it. It was in an interview this week. He said he wants the hair business to reunite because he wants to do New Day versus hair business.
Yes. I mean, you can do it now because he's on Raw.
You know what I'm more excited about is the fact that the WWE on Fox and WWE BT Sports Twitter accounts have been teasing a little bit of Roman and the Bloodline versus Biggie and the New Day.
Yes.
I know Survivor Series, we normally get the singles champion versus champion match, which I don't get me wrong, I'm fine with Roman and Biggie. That'd be amazing.
But also give us a faction match.
Give us the New Day versus the Bloodline instead.
Yeah.
Save Roman and Biggie for a bigger occasion.
For the Rumble.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Literally took the words right out of my mouth there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do champion versus champion at the Rumble.
You can do every other champion versus champion at Survivor Series, fine. People want to see Biggie and Reigns. It'd be fucking awesome. They can hold off to the Rumble, put that as your mark. Like, obviously, aside from the Rumble match itself, that's your marquee match at the fucking Rumble. It's awesome. Yeah. But the Bloodline versus Blood, this is the first time Biggie's been reunited on the same show as Woods and Kofi since they split up, which was how long ago? Like last year?
Oh, last year.
Yeah. So nearly a full year ago.
Yeah.
And the Bloodline have been doing fucking awesome work on SmackDown. Like, give us that. That could headline it. It'd be awesome. As long as they get all the other champion versus champion matches. So United States versus Intercontinental tag. Well, they can't even do the tag team championships against each other, though, if they were having that. But
they could do that, actually, couldn't they? Who are the tag team champions at the moment?
New Day. Randy Orton and
Bro, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, bro. And then on the other side is the Usos.
So yeah, they beat RK Bro. I don't think RK Bro's long for this world. I think
I think it's only there to set up a heel turn. Everyone thinks Randy. I think it'd be more compelling if it was Riddle turning heel.
I mean, Riddle's already got go away heat with me because he's just fucking annoying. He's just a fucking pillar.
Back to the point, though, I'd love to see the Hurt Business reunite. Like, apparently MVP and Lashley were lobbying hard for Vince to not split them up in the first instance.
He seemed really annoyed about that, didn't he?
Yeah, quite a few people kept, like, I think
because he wanted to add a woman to the faction and make it like that they have all the belts.
Yeah, which would have been fucking awesome. Really, really, really cool. And then imagine they'd done that. They added Naomi to the Bloodline and a woman to the Hurt Business. And then you've got the two mouthpieces in MVP and Heyman. Imagine that as a fucking standoff. Like,
but apparently the business had so much potential as well.
Oh, they did. They really did. But maybe this is the catalyst to getting back together and just go, look, it plays into the tweet. Like, well, if you had some backup, you wouldn't have lost it. You're stronger together rather than individually. Like, let's get back together. Like, Batista apparently was quite vocal when they split up about it. But yeah, I thought they were fucking awesome. Bring them back together. Mm-hmm. We'll see. Moving on. WWE have already talked about eventually doing a passing of the torch type moment at WrestleMania between Brock Lesnar and recent WWE signee Gable Steveson. That's according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Don't you mean Steve Gableson?
Steve Gableson. What?
Because WWE, they tweet.
Yeah, no, I know. Maybe they might call him, like, I don't know, Bron Breakker or fuck knows.
Got that one, mate. On that one already. They might call him Rex Steiner. No one's got that name.
Nope.
No. I mean, yeah, this kind of writes itself, doesn't it? It's like it's cool on so many levels. Obviously, Gable's like trained with Brock, and he's like been Brock's like sort of like Brock mentored him as an amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
Then you've got to look at the comparisons of Gable Steveson and Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Kurt Angle had that passing the torch moment match with Brock at Mania.
Yeah.
Natural progression. Brock does it with Gable. I think Gable's going to be like their sort of, well, he's their new Kurt, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Their new Brock.
Yeah. I'm really, really, really fucking excited for him. Massively.
The amount of investment they've put in him as well, like the fact they've given him his own personal like training center on his university while he's finishing university.
It's mad.
It's insane. He'll bypass NXT, won't he?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. He'll come out of the Rumble He won't win the Rumble. I reckon he'll debut at the Rumble and he'll get like most eliminations or something, or tie for the most eliminations, something like that.
He said that he's not gonna be able to actually start with WWE until after May, because that's when he finished university. So SummerSlam. Yeah,
fair enough.
A year on from when he like shown up with his gold medal.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Excitement either way. Very, very excitement.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a once in a generational talent, doesn't he? And it's the fact that they've signed his brother as well. Could do the tag team.
Yeah.
That's best of breeds.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Tossing it. Throwing each other around.
Yeah.
Very exciting time for Gable Steveson. Indeed, I reckon he'll bypass NXT completely. I think they're going to give him like the Kurt Angle push, the Brock push, because they need to make a new star as well. Like well, not make a new star, because they've kind of just like made a new main event star in Big E finally.
But Big E was kind of already established, like as in someone that's come out fresh, new.
They need to make somebody who's got longevity, and obviously Gable Stevenson's only like 20.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's got longevity. And speaking of someone else who's a main event star, WWE have announced that Brock Lesnar, the Techno Viking, will take on Roman Reigns at Crown Royal.
Crown Royale.
Yeah. At Royale with cheese.
Jewel in the crown. Royale with cheese. Because of the metric system.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction reference there. Cheeky Pulp Fiction. At 50 Cent blood on the stand.
Kid Al.
I mean, we knew this was coming. It doesn't really surprise me. They've held it off for Saudi Arabia.
Kind of diminishes Roman versus the Demon, though, doesn't it? Which is before. Yeah. I mean, I know on the tweet it says this match happens if Roman can overcome Balor, like if he's still Universal Champion after facing the Demon, but just
they're feeding the Demon to Roman, which is annoying. Like
that shit.
I love Roman. I do. He's the head of the table. He's far and above probably the best thing WWE are doing at the moment. Obviously now Big E's champion. I might change my mind on that. But before that, he was far and above the best thing WWE were doing. And he doesn't need the kind of rub of beating the Demon.
No, not at all.
Like,
could have just beaten Finn as it is and left it.
Yeah, especially because this is the first time Finn brought the Demon out in 3 or 4 years. And they're literally going to feed them to the tribal chief. Roman don't need that rub.
No. Unless it ends in like DQ. Unless there's fuckery in the finish.
Yeah, but fuck that. I'm fed up with them fucking shitbagging the way out booking themselves into a corner by going, it's a DQ. Like, and then no one benefits from it.
No.
It does kind of add credence to the fact that the Demon's kryptonite is Samoan's name, Joe. To be fair.
Yeah. Shall we talk about some NXT?
Yeah.
So sources told Matt Men's Andrew Zarian that WWE will continue pushing the NXT 2.0 name because they want people to know that this is a whole new NXT. It felt very forced on commentary every time they were saying
I thought the show was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. It was a decent show.
Yeah.
That was the thing for me that I really, really disliked.
Yeah.
Because it felt like, when they say something's new and improved, that it's not, it's shit. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was diminishing the product a bit. Like, it's 2.0, it's the new NXT. It's like, there wasn't anything wrong with the old NXT.
No.
Like, that if they want, fair enough, they want to kind of rebrand it and refresh it, and that's fine. I mean, I've spoke about this. We've spoke about this at length. Where if it's not broken, don't fix it. That being said, I think there was a lot of stuff that they changed that was very good. I thought the
whole aesthetic of the CWC.
The former CWC, because it's not going to be called that anymore, is it's just going to be called NXT. That looked very impressive. I thought that the production value of it looked impressive. That new stage with the big screen looked really good. And I like the fact that it was like an amphitheater.
Yeah.
It did feel different. It certainly felt like a lot better than the sort of like gritty underground like Fight Club that Triple H was trying to put out. Like as far as production goes, as far as like the actual, it's NXT 2.0. I'm not a fan of that.
Nah, not at all.
So there's only room for one 2.0 in wrestling.
And they're not in WWE anymore.
And they're not in WWE. They're not in NXT anymore, no. It's like the fucking new generation all over again when it was like, it's the new generation. Like, fuck off.
Nah. Get to fuck.
Yeah. I've always like not just in wrestling, in anything, I've always been very kind of like very cagey about when people
reboots, refreshes.
It's the new, it's 2.0, it's a reboot. It's like, no, thank you. But yeah, it did feel forced. It did feel very forced. When you're like, it's NXT 2.0. Yeah. Moving on anyway. As for the debut show, the wrestling, PW Insider, in fact, says the script was changed a ton of times, really, as main roster NXT. Throughout the day, leading up to it hitting the air on the USA Network. They also say Kevin Dunne was at the show and personally overseeing the broadcast. And
because, of course, he was.
With the fucking camera changes, it did have his fingers all over it, didn't it?
Yeah. And look, it wasn't as bad as Raw and SmackDown is when we see, but you could tell that there was a change in terms of kind of production, camera work, angles.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I thought, like, as far as it being shot differently, that I liked was, remember when they did like the original draft, not the original draft, sorry, the original like redraft, I should say, where they did like Shane and Daniel Bryan and Stephanie and Mick Foley, and Shane was like, SmackDown's going to be shot differently, and he literally like raised the hard cam a bit, so looking downwards almost.
It looked almost like more like a UFC cam where it kind of came over the top of the cage and stuff.
I like that. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. I just don't need 300 fucking camera changes in a 30-second period because you can't process that. Like the amount of times when I'm watching main roster and like, what the fuck just happened? What did I see? Because I can't process it because there's that many camera changes that my head starts hurting.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
And just calm down a bit, Kev.
To blind it in. Moving on, Adam Cole told TV Insider, this is in regards to the news that came out earlier this week, was it late last week, about him accompanying Keith Lee to the ring, like in his main roster call-up and being his mouthpiece, his manager, and turning Keith Lee heel. He said, I've personally never heard anything regarding WWE's reported plan to use him as a manager. Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp said that he heard from several other sources that they'd never heard that pitch among the ones discussed backstage either. So where the fuck that came from, I don't know.
I've got a feeling it was ringside news. It would be on
the
brand.
Finest news source. It's up there with the Sun. If anyone listening doesn't know what the Sun is, it's toilet rag newspaper.
Don't buy the Sun.
Never.
Burn the fucking Sun. I wouldn't even wipe my ass with it. I mean, that's good. I would genuinely be intrigued to see what they pitched them. To be fair, I like the fact that Adam Cole's just like such a nice guy that he's just like he won't say anything bad about WWE. He's like he's very good in the sense that he's not shit on WWE, but he's basically dead. Well, AEW AEW were doing the more compelling stuff, so I wanted to go there.
Yeah,
and
it's fair.
Yeah, and he's did you see his little video that him and Woodsy did? The parties going away.
Was it him, Tyler Breeze, and Cesaro?
Yeah,
that was nice.
They're talking about the party, and it was like Cole saying goodbye to Up Down Now.
Oh,
that hurt. Hurt. But he said, "I'll see you soon."
Yeah, he said it's not goodbye. So I'll see you soon.
When he retires, he'll return.
Oh, I mean that's hopefully a ways off.
I was going to say, hopefully that'll be a long ass time because he's got fucking AEW to conquer, mate. He's got a Hangman to fucking Panama Sunrise into the abyss. Straight after Hangman wins the belt, Cole comes in and fucking does a murder on him. I mean, cunt. Yeah, but as I say, I'd be intrigued to see what was picked. I wouldn't be surprised if the Keith Lee manager thing was true though. Like that's the thing that came out of it. Like the fact that I wouldn't be surprised.
Surely not. Like he's been offered
wearing a Leo Rush shirt as well for no ironic reason. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Like it's crazy to think they had like literally then new Shawn Michaels, and they've just kind of
shit the bed.
They shit the bed with the contract, and then they shit the bed by like being like, well, how can we keep him? Oh, we'll pitch him these things. It's like, just put the fucking belt on him. that would have been the way to keep him. Just fucking give him the belt. Feed Roman to him. I've Adam Cole, the new tribal chief, baby. Speaking of Samoans called Joe, PW Insider notes that Samoa Joe is not expected to be out of action for an extended period of time, but it isn't unclear when he'll be coming back. Obviously, he did relinquish the NXT title in quite weird time.
Not at all suspect.
Just before the rebrand NXT. I mean, I don't think that Roman. I don't think that there's any
wrong Joe, mate.
Yeah, wrong Joe. I don't think that there's any like kind of. There's obviously been like a lot of conspiracy theories, people with tinfoil hats on, saying how like Samoa Joe's relinquished that really well time. I don't think he's had like problems with injuries.
For a couple of years, hasn't he?
Well, the last couple of years, yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope he's okay.
Yeah. As do I. Recover soon, Joe. Yeah. Do you see him going back, like when he's recovered to NXT or back to main roster or what?
Well, apparently he was meant to be on Raw.
Apparently he was in the writing for it, like the script or something this week. As was Austin Theory was apparently backstage at Raw this week also, which I haven't dropped in here, but yeah.
He brought his friend Damian Priest. Austin Theory's been at Raw though, like for weeks. He's been apparently since they brought fans back, he's been having dark matches.
Oh, okay.
Tagging with Odyssey Jones, interestingly enough.
Really?
And Von Wagner.
Don't worry about
it.
Moving on. Fightful has learned that NXT Triple Crown champion Jonathan of Gargano, his contract is expiring on December the 3rd of this year, 2021. WWE sources confirmed the news with Fightful Select on Monday afternoon. Thus far, WWE sources have indicated to Fightful that Johnny Gargano and WWE have not entered into negotiations to extend his contract, but WWE expects to in the fall.
I mean, that worked out really well for them with Adam Cole, didn't it?
Yep. I mean, hopefully they learn from their mistakes this time, but probably not.
This was the date that they thought Adam Cole's contract expired.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's in charge there? How have they still got a job? How do you fuck that up?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure it's John Laurinaitis.
Come on, John, lad.
And also, wasn't it Mark Carrano for a bit? And he got fired.
He gone.
he gone.
He done gone fucked up.
He got fired after the bin bag thing, didn't he?
Rightly so.
And then his ex mistress said he'd been stealing from the company, and he's got a
stash of belts under his bed.
Stash of belts under his bed in the spare room.
Okay, that sounds like Aaron.
Looks like Aaron as well. He doesn't look like Aaron. That's unfair.
That's to Carano.
Sorry, Mark. Yeah, I mean, fucking hell, they are really like it's literally someone's job to make sure they fucking a new contract. Why? You'd think as well, as like them saying, oh yeah, they expect to talk to him like in fall. So obviously that's like around this time of the year. You'd think, given the fact they just had one of their top like guys in NXT leave the company, and then a week after his contract expired, show up in the fucking competition and blow up the internet.
You thought they'd have started these negotiations and chats yesterday, not we're going to wait to the fall.
Because, I mean, I don't foresee Johnny Gargano going to AEW if he leaves. I mean, he might.
Nah.
But I could see him, like, certainly being, like, a sort of main player in
Impact.
Like a Ring of Honor or Impact, or just doing what he was doing before he signed for WWE and just being, like, a touring journeyman of the Indies and having good matches wherever he goes, which is why he signed in the first place. But... yeah, I mean, Johnny Gargano is like literally the fucking heart and soul of NXT at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and also the other thing you've got to say for Johnny as well, which is quite good for him, is that obviously Candice is pregnant.
Pregante.
Which we'll get to Candice in a minute. And with her being pregnant, like he's got a very good kind of bargaining chip to get a bit more money out of WWE.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And also, if his contract's expiring, maybe he wants to like take some time away to actually be a dad.
And that
there is that. I mean, that's the other thing where I see he'd probably stick around with NXT because you can literally like he works one day a week. And then other than like working out in the performance center and doing whatever else he does there,
could be a dad. Yeah,
he can actually like watch his kid grow up, watch little baby wrestling grow up. already got the Gargano kick pads, hasn't he? Speaking of Candice, with news of Johnny's deal coming up, Fightful learned a little bit about Candice's as well. It was noticed that her deal does not match up with Gargano's because she signed much later. And she still has time left on a contract after his does expire. It does expire in sometime in 2022. They confirmed, WWE confirmed, for those who were asking, Fightful managed to confirm that a deal has not been frozen by WWE during her pregnancy. And she's remaining on-screen character. That was her choice. Fightful told by NXT sources that she insisted on remaining an on-screen character as long as she plausibly could, and that NXT has been happy with her performance both in and out of the ring. I think Candice is like one of the unsung heroes of this whole Index thing. She's fucking hilarious.
So good.
She's so funny. Obviously Johnny is like he's like the big loud one, so he kind of like does stuff. But just like when she like spying on them on the date when she had the walkie-talkie, like that. She's just brilliant. I love it. I think she's so entertaining. I just love the way.
Yeah,
I love the fact that Dexter's kind of part of that now. I like the fact that they kind of sort of shoehorning Odyssey Jones into it a bit. I want to see more Odyssey Jones involved in the way.
He's such a character.
He's such a character.
He's so funny.
I love the fact that on like all Dexter's groomsmen were dressed as Dexter.
Yeah, top, the jeans, the gloves.
Yeah,
so good. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so good indeed. But yeah, I think they want characters for the new NXT, and they've got some very good ones in play.
Without a doubt.
Like I think Johnny's work like as sort of like the head of the family of the way, has been probably his best in NXT.
Yeah,
just not in ring wise, because
but character work.
But character wise, he's been phenomenal. He's hilarious. His comedic timing is brilliant. Obviously, him and Candice being husband and wife, they've got that natural chemistry, and they just bounce off each other really well.
Yeah,
and they've managed to like bring in Dexter and Indy and Austin into that as well. And
yeah, it's been one of the if not the best storyline in WWE generally, like in the last year and a bit, longer than a year.
The Index stuff's been fantastic. The way as well, as I say, very underrated. As how good they actually are. So hopefully for WWE's sake, they keep holding, because I want to see more of the way.
All the way. Sticking with news of contracts, I think we mentioned last week and a week before in regards to Pete Dunne's contract and that coming up. WWE sources confirmed to Fightful Tuesday afternoon that Pete Dunne agreed to a new 3-year deal, which was actually said to have been personally offered by Triple H before he was sidelined recently. Dunne, along with Adam Cole, had a surprise contract expiration in July. I wasn't really too worried about Dunne going elsewhere, to be honest.
No, I think he's not long moved to America, has he? So I don't think there was any real danger of him leaving. It would have been interesting if he had, because I mean, he's the thing with Pete Dunne is he's very clever with his social media, isn't he? Like he's doing a lot. He did a lot of teasing. Like he was teasing wrestling Ricky Shane Page. He was teasing, which would have been fucking insane. He's obviously teasing following Adam Cole over to AEW before it got announced that he'd renewed his deal. He was very, very, very smart. Like that. And the thing is as well, which is kind of like gone unsaid, is that him doing that now, if he doesn't resign when this contract expires, he's already teased a shit ton of dream matches right there.
Yeah.
That you can go, oh, that'd be good. That'd be very good. He said he's been talking about how he wants to wrestle Bryan Danielson at some point. That's like his dream match as well. That'll happen somewhere down the line, no doubt. Whether it's in a WWE ring or an AEW ring. Interestingly, his and Bryan's contract both expire similar sort of times. So
that's a point, yeah.
It could literally be anywhere, which is exciting.
Let's give us in TNT. Come over to Liverpool.
Yeah. Keep on in the fucking G1, having fucking fight Mayor the Grandad. I'm just stick the shit out of Mayor the Grandad and then possibly die. I have to go back to the UK and get his dad Trent Seven to sort them out. And then have Minoru Suzuki do an actual murder on Trent Seven. So good. But yeah, that's the thing. He's been like with Pete Dunne. He's been very, very smart with the social media, with the surrounding thing. He was very tight-lipped about it all. He wouldn't even address it. And he's, as I say, he's been teasing dream matches wherever he goes, whether it was NXT or whether it was pastures new. Still, he said his main priority now is the Samoa Joe match.
Yeah,
which that'd be good. It'd be nice.
Stiff.
Yeah, basically, he just wants to wrestle all like Ring of Honor from like 2004. I'm okay with. Moving on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dear Daddy Dave said that Shawn Michaels was the person running the show for NXT 2.0 this week, and Triple H probably won't be back for a while. Vince wasn't there. Vince was involved in the creative of the show, but he wasn't the key guy. Shawn Michaels does a lot of NXT UK, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
So, I mean, if Kevin Dunne is just producing it, that's fine. If Shawn's like doing like the actual the running of it, he might be able to like super kick Kevin Dunne if he starts doing too many camera cuts.
If he starts acting up.
I just kicked
Yeah. As long as Sean or Trips are near it, hopefully still be all right.
Triple H is all right.
Yeah.
Got a little scared of me of the old Trips. Should we talk about a bit of the Forbidden Door?
Do it.
Come on.
Oh, it's me, isn't it?
It's
Right
you.
PW Insider notes that morale backstage at AEW is very high right now, heading into the next week's loaded Grand Slam shows in New York City. This should come as a surprise to no one. Of course, morale's high. You're working in, not even arguably, like the better product, the better company. You've just signed a boatload of talent. There's fucking exciting matches. The eyes of the wrestling world are on you to see what you're going to do next. Morale should be high. I'll be surprised if it was anything but very high.
TNT literally gave them a whole other hour on Rampage. So, as Excalibur said on commentary this week, and I hadn't thought about this until they'd said it, but this is basically a pay-per-view on free TV.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. I don't know why it's not being treated like as in why they haven't named it a pay-per-view.
Well, they're treating it as a pay-per-view, but like so they want this. This is what's really cool, and it's quite an old school like way of doing it. They're treating it like WWE used to treat like the shows in like the early 90s before In Your House. So they've got
like
the
when they do like
four,
Madison Square Garden, and it'd be like
So they got the big four pay-per-views, and then they've got like the Saturday night's main events.
Yeah.
And that's what Tony Khan compared this to.
Okay.
And excuse me, obviously, like commentary were making a massive deal of it. As I say, Excalibur said multiple times, it's like a free pay-per-view. JR was hyping it up. Pepsi Man was hyping it up. They all were. But, I mean, the card is stacked, to say the least. That's just going to run through it. So on the episode of Dynamite, and there's matches that might be added as well. We've got, it was originally going to be the Varsity Blondes versus MJF and Wardlow. Now it's listed here as Pillman Jr. versus MJF in the singles match.
Sweet.
We've got Malachi Black versus Cody 2. Cody gets his win back Boogaloo.
Nope.
I hope not. I hope Malachi kicks him so hard he thinks he's Stardust. We've got Sting and Darby Allin versus FTR, which I didn't know I needed that match until it got made. We've got Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho.
Yes, boy.
And then the main event of the Dynamite is Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson in a non-title match.
Nice.
Just an exhibition of
just an exhibition. Yeah.
Which, yeah, I'm down with that.
To prove who the real best bout machine is.
Yeah, that's because they've had matches before, but they've not had matches where they're like at the prime. That could be the fucking match of the year right there.
On free TV.
On free TV, yeah.
It's mental.
But then the thing is with that is that Bryan Danielson said, I don't want the title yet. I know I've not earned that. So that means when somewhere down the line we get him in a title match against possibly Kenny, that's going to be. I'm very excited for that. Kenny and Bryan is like a match that I think as soon as Bryan
wants.
Yeah, as soon as Bryan left WWE, it was like, well,
there's Kenny.
Kenny's not doing anything right now. I think this show's gonna be the return of Hangman as well.
Yeah,
and we start that little story, and then on Rampage, a 2-hour Rampage, got a whole extra hour. We've got the return of the Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. Marco wasn't good enough that much, apparently.
Wow,
we've got
him and Adam Cole not the same height. No,
Marco's taller. Right, Adam Cole looks about 7 foot in AEW. What the fuck's happening?
I know.
Is it literally just that they had him next to fucking giants in WWE?
I think so.
He had Keith Lee pouncing him into orbit. He had fucking Damian Priest and Dijakovic knocking her out. I don't know. We've got the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, and MMA fighter Jake Hager versus the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, with Dan Lambert from American Top Team. Apparently, all the UFC fighters as well with him.
Sorry.
And in his first match on television in 7 years, Pepsi Man CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs with Hook, Taz, and Absolute Ricky Starks. Couple of matches that haven't been announced there also yet, which are about to be, is Suzuki Gun versus Mox and Kingston.
Oh, damn.
And, yeah.
Wow.
Have you not seen the end of Dynamite where they were just brawling through the crowd?
No, not yet.
Murder Bird had this fucking Suzuki Gun gear on.
Yes, boy.
Just brawling with Eddie Kingston in the crowd. They deliberately kept Suzuki and Kingston apart as well. They haven't announced anything for the tag titles yet. They haven't announced anything for Miro yet. There is stuff to be announced. Obviously, we've got Rampage tonight, which headlined by the Lucha Brothers versus Butcher and the Blade for the tag titles, which will be a fucking good old on the Butcher.
Spicy affair.
And they've been heavily teasing Brian Cage versus Absolute Ricky Starks as well for the FTW title. This show is going to be fucking huge, isn't it? This is the show that Bryan Danielson was meant to debut.
Yeah. Well, didn't they push it forward? Were they worried about COVID and stuff that this might not happen?
They wanted it to be in front, be guaranteed to be in front of fans, and because of COVID, there was talk that they might have to rearrange this show. It's a fucking stacked card. They're not messing around, are they? That's for me. That's like such a cool thing that they've just decided to go. Yeah, let's do a free TV pay-per-view. Why not?
A massive fucking stadium, like arena is a stadium. Yeah, I
mean, it's the first ever stadium show.
Yeah,
that's why I thought originally that was going to be where Hangman was going to win the belt, because it's the biggest crowd they've ever had. But yeah, it's cool. Like, I mean, not to kind of harp on it a lot, but AEW kind of say they do a lot for the fans, and this is for the fans, isn't it?
Yes, 100%.
It's a free pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They couldn't be more for the fans with this if they tried. Moving on, the Wrestling Observer claims that Fox went to WWE once word got out that CM Punk was in talks with AEW and offered to help sign him. Apparently, WWE said his money request was too high, and Fox offered to chip in to help pay for his services.
That's mad. When the network's saying, "We'll give you money."
Well, he was under contract with Fox, wasn't he? And he's got quite a good rapport with Fox. I get the feeling that Punk probably highballed the shit out of that, didn't
he? Of course he did.
This is my number. You want to pay it?
Have your people speak to my people.
I remember he said when Renee asked him in it was last year, it was before there was any news of him coming back to wrestling. She asked how much money it would take him to get back to wrestling. He just said double what Brock's making. So
fucking hell.
So he's probably literally just gone no chill Phil and gone double what Brock's making. But yeah, I think it would have been weird seeing him in WWE again.
Yeah, would have been.
And I mean, not to say Vince McMahon's vindictive, but I mean, Vince is fucking vindictive as hell. Vince puts the Vince in vindictive. And he literally would probably try and make Punk look like an absolute dickhead every chance he could.
Yeah.
Especially if this is a deal that has been brokered against his will, essentially. Because the network's we want you to be doing better. Sign him.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a chairman buying a player for a football team because they like that player. And like the manager's like, oh, I don't know what to fucking do with him. I don't want him.
Just buy him.
It's like, yeah, but we're going to pay for him. We're going to do all the fucking business for you. You just need to use him. I don't want him.
I don't want him.
I do. It doesn't work into me plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think especially if I had been under those circumstances, it would have been very, very odd.
Agreed. Finally, last little bit of AEW news. We did briefly cover this last week as well, but there's been a little bit more fuel to the fire added this week with a few tweets going out. So Wrestling Observer said that if Bray Wyatt goes to AEW, there's talk of him debuting on the September 29th episode of Dynamite in Rochester, New York. Rochester obviously being the hometown of the late Brody Lee.
Yes, Bray's best mate. That'd be nice if he does debut there. Yeah, he so obviously the fuel that was added to the fire, just like Randy Orton covering the Fiend in gasoline and setting fire to a mannequin dressed as the Fiend.
Don't worry about
it. He's coming back like fucking melted marshmallow man again. So Bray's been weirdly active on Twitter this week. He'd been notable by his silence, and he's been very active all of a sudden. First to congratulate Big E, which was nice. And then a fan, after he tweeted that, first off, Paul White retweeted it and said, like, congratulate Big E, basically. But like, it was interesting that that's what he chose to retweet. Not really to that, but then a fan said, "I miss you, Bray," and he said, "We'll see each other." He said, "Let me get the tweet up." It was something along the lines of, "We'll see each other very soon." But there was obviously a little bit more to it. Here we go. So he said, and I quote, fucking hell. Where the hell is it? Has he deleted the tweet?
Oh,
interesting. He said something like, "Well, I'll see you very soon," and something about revenge.
Okay.
Let's see if Fightful's got the quote, because it looks like Bray's deleted the tweet. Where are we? So yeah, he's also he tweeted a picture of him and Matt Hardy the other. Oh no, sorry, Matt Hardy tweeted a picture of him and Bray was commenting on that. Here we go. So a guy said, "I miss you, brother," and Bray said, "Everything will be clear. I'll see you all very soon. Revenge is a confession of pain." And then he is also someone also said, "I can't wait to see you again," and Bray said, "You've never seen the real me." So he's teasing like a more darker and evil version of the Fiend as well while he's at it. As I say, Babadook, Bray,
gonna slither under the forbidden door.
Well, Mox has been teasing like something big for ages now. He's been like saying, "Oh yeah, you knock on the forbidden door, you don't know what's waiting on the other side of the door." And obviously everyone's like, "Oh well, here comes little happy bread man Kojima." And then Mayor the Grandad.
Red man.
And Mayor the Grandad comes out and he's now waging war with Mox and Kingston. Because of the Suzuki incident, lest we forget. Never ever cut off Kaze Nina Ray, ever. Yeah. I love they've turned the outrage on Twitter into a storyline. That's excellent. And they had Pepsi Man fucking break it down like a tale of the tape. But yeah, he said that. Obviously, everyone thinks it's Mayor the Grandad. That's the fucking big bad coming out the forbidden door. What if it's Bray? What if it's Bray debuting some new, more demonic, evil version of the Fiend?
Fucking hell.
Like
that
fucking Pennywise.
A big fucking serpent that comes out like in What If. Just envelops the fucking ring.
Comes out like fucking Mox has said Candyman in the mirror 3 times.
Oh.
And then we get Bray and Mox again, which is nice.
Yes, please and thank you.
Which I'd be down with that. But yeah, wherever he lands, I mean, we said this when he got released. First of all, it's interesting because that would indicate that Bray's either negotiated out of his non-compete or he didn't have as long as everyone thought he did. Because he only got released the 31st of July. So the 29th of September is less than 2 months.
Yeah.
So obviously...
It's usually 90, isn't it? 90 days.
It's usually 90 days. When I Googled 90 days from then, it was 2 weeks before Full Gear.
Okay.
So I was thinking, okay, well, they could feasibly have him show up at Full Gear. It'd be nice if he shows up in Brody's hometown, for sure. But, either way, like we've said this ad nauseum at this point. A guy that creative and literally that like kind of invested into his characters. It's like throwing money away, isn't it?
James, just to see him sat by the wayside and being absolutely wasted, left out to pasture, if you like, and just
He's another one as well. If AEW sign him, he's an absolute game changer. Like, you just got to look at the merch sales he made for WWE.
Yeah,
like the last 12 months alone. Like when they first debuted The Fiend, like he was literally, they were bringing out merch based on whatever promo he cut that week. So I think he's going to be a big merch mover wherever he goes. Anyway, he's going to be a guy that people are going to want to watch. They're going to seek him out because he's a compelling character.
For sure.
That's the other thing as well. In a time when WWE are talking about making more characters and they get rid of their biggest one. I can still remember the day it happened when I was in work and I got the fucking wrestle votes thing. I was like, what's going on? Something big's happening. And then it was like, I wonder if Tony Khan wants to hate or heel. I was like, oh my God, what?
Fucking hell.
And moments later, they announced it. And it was just like, shit.
Yeah.
So, very, very, very interesting time. Watch this space with Bray Wyatt, or Win, as he's called himself nowadays, his real name. Let's talk about the rest of the world, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. So MLW have announced the return of their annual Opera Cup tournament. The Opera Cup being the oldest tournament in wrestling, for those keeping track. And the lineup for this, oh boy, it's going to be on October the 2nd at MLW Fightland, which is also headlined by Meat Castle versus Werewolf.
Yes.
Alexander Hammerstone, or Alexander Hosserstone, if you want to be serious about it. The Castle of Meat himself, the steak palace himself,
mixed grill fortress.
This is Jacob Fatu. That'll be good. Yeah, they've been building that match for like 2 years as well. They've been putting the fucking hours in on that match. Jesus. But the tournament, this lineup's fantastic. You've got Alex Shelley, Lee Moriarty from the AEW, Robert Fish from the NXT.
How much fish could Bobby Fish fish if Bobby Fish could fish?
Don't worry about it. Calvin the Tank Man.
Is that the guy that wrestles in a nappy?
Well, it's not really a nappy. It's just the tights look a bit like a nappy.
All right.
He's a fucking unit. He's awesome.
I know he is. He's a beast.
He's very good. Yeah. He's very agile as well. Reminds me of Keith Lee in the sense that he's a big guy who should be able to do what he can fucking do.
Moves like a cruiserweight, hits like a heavyweight.
Yeah, he's excellent. He also has a very, very good Fire Thunder driver. TJP, Davey Richards,
wow.
Matt Cross. Shit. It's just disappointing. Matt Cross, aka Son of Havoc, off of the Lucha Underground, and Filthy Tom Lawler.
Nice.
That'd be good.
That'll be fun. Yeah, man.
Yeah. MLW doing some pretty good stuff at the moment, aren't they?
They are. Their Battle Riot thing is on their YouTube channel, I think, for free to watch if you've not seen it.
Yeah, they put the episodes of the weekly TV up on YouTube. It's usually an hour before AEW. They put it up on a Wednesday night. And a lot of the shows, like I think Fightland, it's pay-per-view, but then they'll put it up on the YouTube like a month or two after the air.
Yeah. It's worth a watch. It's a nice alternative.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled by the fact that we have a lot of decent alternatives to watch and are free as well.
Yeah, because Ring of Honor put their weekly TV show free on Fight every week as well.
Yeah,
if you want to watch it, some very good pure wrestling.
Speaking of, go on.
Right, I was going to say MLW also has Tekken Underground, which is basically Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground, yeah.
Even with Dario Cueto. Love to see
Speaking of Ring of Honor, former Ring of Honor World Champion PCO informed Ring of Honor that he won't re-sign with the company when his current contract ends on November the 30th, per The Observer.
The fuck's Danhausen going to have as his host now?
I'm sure I'll find someone else. Danhausen makes friends easily, it's fine.
Danhausen's very famous. He's friends with CM Punk. He's friends with Conan O'Brien. He's friends with The Rock.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Bringing The Rock, of course.
The Rock in Ring of Honor with Danhausen. Yeah, of course.
He's a friend of Danhausen. The Rock loves that Danhausen. He retweets him and everything. So it's like hilarious. This is wild. The PCO is like, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because he's like in his 50s.
Yeah,
and he's got this weird goal that he wants to wrestle on WrestleMania, which I don't think he fits the criteria for.
He's going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle. Fuck me, put your teeth in. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale.
Yeah, I mean he fits the bill in his size because he's fucking huge. I mean, he's gone toe to toe with Walter before, but
I'm just going to sign him on a one-off, have him appear there, tick that up his bucket list, and then he can ride up into the sunset.
Just do a PCO vs Walter again. That was good. Slapping the shit out of each other, and that PCO hit a moonsault, and everyone be shocked, and get fucking what's his name, Destin out, and fucking bring out the car battery. We're all good. Everyone's a winner.
Jesus Christ.
PCO's not human. Moving on. Anyway, some sad news. Jake Atlas has took to social media to announce he will be stepping away from wrestling completely right now. He wrestled the match with Taylor Rust, aka Tyler Rust, at ROH Death Before Dishonor last week. The match ended seemingly abruptly, and some believed that Atlas had been banged up or concussed. That was never confirmed. Atlas stated he was not concussed or banged up. He simply can't keep going anymore. He also implored fans to take their mental health seriously. And the statement he put, "I'm not concussed or banged up. I simply can't keep going anymore. Take your mental health seriously, both for yourselves and for each other, because we only have one life to live. Thank you to anyone who did support me for 5 years. I didn't do much, but what I did was fun. I'm stepping away from wrestling completely right now. Please don't ask me to do any interviews or appearances. I'd like my privacy to be respected. At 26 years old, I've got my entire life ahead of me, and I'm choosing to explore completely different industries to find my passion again. Unfortunately, it was unhealthy for me the entire time. I just learned how to hide it really well. I hope that friends and family I've made alike continue to support me no matter what. I have major anxiety just having done that. Please be sensitive. Thank you."
Bloody hell.
Immensely talented guy. Wish him the best on whatever he does, because he's awesome. I thought he was criminally underutilized in NXT.
Really was.
And excuse me, wherever he would have, like, the thing is, obviously, like, wrestling doesn't want to do it anymore. But the like potential matches he had like lined up, it was like quite exciting. So it's weird. That it is weird that out of the blue he's just kind of nah. But yeah, what the main thing is, whatever's best for him.
Yeah.
If his mental health and his well-being in general, what's important. So
we say it often on this, whether it's the news or any of the other episodes that we put out of the podcast, but always take your mental health seriously, mental health of yourself and the mental health of others. Always reach out, support one another. And yeah, it's a big deal. So yeah, I hope everything's well with him as soon as it can be and he gets the help and support that he needs. Wrestling Observer say that Braun Strowman, or Adam Scherr, going by his real name, has had talks with Impact Wrestling and there is mutual interest there. I could see him in Impact. I think we've said this before.
Yeah, I think he'd be a top guy in Impact.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, let's face it, he'd probably be a top guy wherever he goes, but
I don't see him as a fit for somewhere like AEW, though.
No, I don't see him in AEW. I don't see him in like a Ring of Honor. Possibly Japan, but I think Impact seems to be like the best fit for him because they're a bit more wacky, a bit more weird. Maybe MLW as well, but
yeah,
Impact definitely seems like sort of like a really good fit for him. They seem to just be hiring all the hosses right now, making thick championship wrestling a reality.
Tasty's going to be in touch for royalties.
Is Big Tasty like the equivalent of Dario Cueto for Impact? He talks about TNA a lot. He talks about Impact a lot. They're hiring a load of hosses all of a sudden.
Could be some truth in
it. Is Big Tasty gonna just come out of an office in Impact one day
with a suitcase full of top row beers? The winner gets these.
a suitcase full of top rope beers. He'll have Jeff Cobb dressed up as fucking Matanza Cueto again, and have him doing sacrifices to the gods. I can see it happen.
Yeah, book it.
I'd love that. I genuinely love that. Speaking of Impact Wrestling, Gail Kim announced that Impact Wrestling is bringing back their Knockouts Knockdown pay-per-view, which is their all-women's pay-per-view. They'd previously done, I believe it was 2011 to 2014. She announced that Deonna Purrazzo will be defending her Knockouts Championship against the mystery opponent. Lady Frost, Mercedes Martinez, and Renee Michelle have also been announced as being part of the event. And it was announced that the show will feature the Daphne Memorial Monsters Ball match. Daphne Younger, the late great Daphne Younger, competed in the first Knockouts Monsters Ball match in 2009.
Awesome. That's lovely.
Yeah, I get a feeling.
Who do you reckon we're going to see?
This show might be a little bit inspirational, a little bit iconic.
That'd be nice. Be very nice.
Be nice. Yeah. That being said, AEW teasing a new belt. If it was women's tag titles, that'd be nice.
It was women's tag titles or trios?
Well, Kenny said there's going to be trios. Tony's kind of downplayed it. Kenny basically said they're going to crown trios champions on the Jericho Cruise, which is in October.
Okay.
But he said that like before the pandemic. So who knows? Yeah. But I think women's tag titles in AEW would be good. Give them to the icons. But this is cool. Like Impact and when they were TNA before, I've always been kind of ahead of the curve with the women's division. Like as I say, they were doing all women's pay-per-views before WWE were trying to fucking like they were Billy Big Bollocks doing it. And before Stephanie McMahon invented women's wrestling. And obviously they've drawn a lot of influence from Shimmer as well, which is very good. There's a lot of little dream matches on there if you want to go to their YouTube channel. But yeah, it's cool. I'm intrigued to see who Deonna Purrazzo will wrestle. Also, I didn't add this to the notes, but last night they announced that Mickie James and Vader Scott will be the commentary team.
Nice.
Which is very cool.
Yeah. This is really, really cool. Like we not long had NWA in power. We've now got this. It's just really good to see that these things are being put on now and not that it wasn't taken seriously before, but it feels like hopefully this will be a thing where it's like a staple every year. where it's within the pay-per-view schedule of whichever promotion, and it's not just like WWE did. Oh, look, we've put this on, and then never have it again. Like,
yeah, and then tell Mickey James that women's wrestling's on draw because surprise, motherfucker, it does.
It's ridiculous. We've actually got
that NWA one was awesome.
A little bit of news to end on, and it actually segues kind of off the back of this. We're going to have, and I've not told you yet either, actually, little surprise. We're going to be doing another one of our special kind of one-off episodes with Tina Miller, who is an American writer for Wrestling Inc., and we're going to be talking about representation within women's wrestling and off the back of Empower, and with this coming up, and about, she's a podcaster as well, hosts her own show, and about representation within that and within the wrestling industry, and feeling like there's more of a platform and more of a voice for women now. So yeah, that is an episode that's going to be coming up fairly soon.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Very cool. Get Phil on there as well.
Yeah,
he's big on that, isn't he?
Indeed. Yeah,
that'll be cool. Yeah, that's been the news. One last tidbit of news. At time of recording, it is Friday. You know what that means. There's going to be a murder tonight. The Minoru Suzuki US murder talking rages on. This got announced yesterday or Wednesday. I think it was yesterday. At time of recording, that tonight Minoru Suzuki is going to be eating some calamari because he's wrestling the octopus Jonathan Gresham at GPW, highest in the room. Go watch it because that show's going to fucking bang.
Yeah,
sweet. Yes, boy.
Yes,
I love
boy.
the Minoru Suzuki US made it all. It's great. Keep your fucking G1. Not the man, Grandad. It's been a lot of Minoru Suzuki talk today. I love it. Anyway, that's been the news. Thank you for joining us. Troy, where can people find us on the social media to drop us a few scoops if need be?
Facebook and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast. We're starting to fill up our YouTube now with some video content. If you're watching this is obviously on there. We're also putting some show reviews on there and some of our aforementioned special episodes. We're also on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod. We've got a really, really good community on the Discord, so come and join us on that. We talk about stuff that isn't just wrestling, but we also talk about games, film and TV, food and drink, and just general chatter. At time of recording, as you said, it's a Friday. We'll be doing our usual gaming stuff tomorrow. So jump over on Twitch, give us a watch, give us a follow, whatever you want to do. And as I say, you can find us there at Untitled Rest Pod.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Thank you for joining us. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You must love this podcast house and the Untitled Wrestling Podcast House.